तौबा करण वारा जन्नत में वेंदा, गलत कमन खे छॾे करे सीधे रस्ते ते हलण वारा जन्नत में वेंदा। पर असां अञा भी इन जे ॼाणण इल्मु रखण जे बावजूद भी तौबा नथा करूं। असांखे ख़बर आहे नमाज़ पढ़णु हिकु वॾो कबीरो गुनाह आहे, उन जे बावजूद भी नमाज़ नथा पढ़ूं। ऐं जॾहिं त नमाज़ नथा पढ़ूं वरी को एहसास भी नथो थिए, को हिकु ग़लति कमु करण जी हिकु शर्मिंदगी थींदी आहे, नदामत थींदी आहे, उहा भी नथी थिए, बल्कि असांखे को एहसास भी नथो थिए। हालांकि थियणु ईअं घुरिजे आहे त भई हिकु वक़्त जी नमाज़ जेकॾहिं असांखां छॾिजी वई आहे त इन जो गुनाह आहे, अल्लाह रब्बुल आलमीन नाराज़ थींदो, पर असांखे को एहसास न आहे रहियो। पोइ इन करे अल्लाह रब्बुल आलमीन वार्निंग भी ॾेई छॾी आहे, वाज़े ॿुधाए छॾियो आहे, जेकॾहिं तव्हां नमाज़ नथा पढ़ो, नमाज़नि खे क़ज़ा करो था, इहो कबीरो गुनाह आहे। पोइ अहिड़नि माण्हुनि जे लाइ अल्लाह रब्बुल आलमीन फरमाए थो त जहन्नम। ऐं अहदीस मुबारक में हिकु न कई हदीसूं आहिनि जंहिंमें नमाज़ न पढ़ण वारनि जे लाइ हज़ूर अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम सख़्तु सज़ा ॿुधाई आहे, सख़्तु उन जे लाइ अज़ाब जे बारे में ॿुधायो आहे, तकलीफ़ जे बारे में ॿुधायो आहे। नमाज़ इंसान छो पढ़ंदो आहे? या त हुनखे सुस्ती थींदी आहे, या हुनजो नफ़्स उन ते ग़ालिब अची वेंदो आहे, या शैतान हुन ते हावी थी वेंदो आहे, जंहिंजे करे उहो माण्हू नमाज़ न पढ़ंदो आहे। जॾहिं त नमाज़ पढ़ण में माण्हू जे लाइ सवाब सां गॾोगॾु उन जी रूह जी तस्कीन बि आहे, उनखे ख़ुशि रखण जे लाइ अल्लाह रब्बुल आलमीन जी रहमतूं बि उन ते नाज़िल थियनि थियूं।
And hence void. The third ground, Your Lordship, connected with this is that the interpretation of the provisions of the Election Act proposed by the ECP would amount to a violation of Article 17(2), and hence is incorrect. My third point is, Your Lordship, fourth one, that the Constitution states that the Election Commission is not a court of law. And if its orders are contrary to facts or arbitrary and even unreasonable, then they are subject to judicial review. The fifth point is, Your Lordship, then my argument will be based on is that ECP has acted in a discriminatory manner.
Has acted in
a discriminatory manner in violation of Article 25, and its mala fide is apparent on the face. Mala fide in law and facts is apparent. My next point will be, Your Lordship, that since the fundamental question involves the civil rights of a political party, as well as the individuals, it can only be decided by following the provisions of Article 10A through a fair trial. ECP, not being a court of law, cannot give a fair trial within the meaning of Article 10A. And in fact, no such trial took place. And last thing I'll be arguing is, Lordship, that none of the members of the PTI have filed or challenged the elections. They can only dispute this matter before a civil court, because PTI is a political party which is
This program is brought to you by
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
सनलाइट 15% एक्स्ट्रा पाउडर के साथ, ज्यादा पाउडर ज्यादा बचत।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
Where luxury whispers at every turn. Inquire now and secure your dream.
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
ज़िंदगी जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे। फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
चिकन क्यूब पाउडर में भी दस्तयाब है, मैन्युफैक्चर्ड बाय सैग ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज।
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
ज़िंदगी जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे। फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
GFS Builders and Developers खणी अची रहिया आहिनि तव्हां जे लाइ हिकु पुरसाइश ऐं लग्ज़री शॉपिंग मॉल, जंहिंमें चेज़ मॉल जी जगह पहिरीं खां मौजूद। दुबई जे शॉपिंग मॉल जी तर्ज ते चेज़ मॉल बाय GFS हाणे तव्हां जे शहर सखर में, जंहिंमें असांजी तरफ़ां तव्हां खे ॾिना वेंदा खोड़ सारा इनामात बज़रिया कुरंदाज़ी। दुकान जी किस्त सिर्फ़ 20,000 महीनों खां। मज़ीद मालूमात जे लाइ राब्तो कयो।
ज़िंदगी जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे। फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
कराची ऐं लाहौर समेत सॼे मुल्क में 7 ॾींहनि ते ॿधल पोलियो जे ख़ात्मे वारी मुहिम 8 जनवरी खां शुरू थींदी, जंहिंमें 4.5 करोड़ खां वधीक ॿारनि खे पोलियो खां बचाव जा फुड़ा पियारिया वेंदा। 14 जनवरी ताईं जारी रहंदड़ हिन मुहिम दौरान वालिदैन पंहिंजे ॿारनि खे पोलियो खां बचाव जा फुड़ा ज़रूर पियारनि, छाकाणि त माहौल में मौजूद पोलियो वायरस ॿारनि जे लाइ ख़तरो आहे। यकीनी बनायो त को बि 5 सालनि जी उमिरि खां घटि वारो ॿार पोलियो जे फुड़नि खां महरूम न रहे, छाकाणि त फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
This program is brought to you by
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
सनलाइट 15% एक्स्ट्रा पाउडर के साथ, ज्यादा पाउडर, ज्यादा बचत।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
We're luxury whispers at every turn. Inquire now and secure your dream.
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
ज़िंदगी जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे। फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
चिकन क्यूब पाउडर में भी दस्तयाब है। मैन्युफैक्चर्ड बाय सैग ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज।
And so, Your Lordship, we held the elections, the second intra-party elections on 2nd of October 2023. These elections, Your Lordship, were called in question. We filed the forms 65, which is the requirement. We filed all the documents. But then 14 persons who alleged that they were members filed applications before the Election Commission. And in those applications they said that these elections should be declared void and there should be re-election. This was their prayer. There should be re-election.
Complaints are on record?
They are on record. Your Lordship, the ECP also raised simultaneously some technical points. These technical points related to dates, signatures, forms. That the signature is not right, please put a signature here. The date is not right, please put a date there. A notice was served on us that please come in. There's a hearing on the basis of these 14 applications. A hearing took place, and our basic stance was that these are not members.
Did you respond in writing or verbally?
Verbally.
When was the hearing?
It is mentioned in that order. It was 18th.
18th of
December. So, Your Lordship, on the date that the hearing was finished, the Election Commission handed over 32 questions to us. That these are our questions.
Where are those?
Those are also on record.
Page?
A page, I think it's page. I'll just come to those pages in a minute, but I'm just giving a brief. Now, Your Lordship, the 32 questions were also answered in writing by us. And then the Election Commission of Pakistan passed this order dated 22/12/2023, in which two things happened. Number one, the intra-party election was declared void. It was set aside by ECP. And then on this basis, the ECP went on to do a second thing, which is that it ordered that the symbol will not be given to PTI. Now, Your Lordship, this order in 22/12/2023 has been read before this Honorable Court. But I'd like to summarize what I think is the reading of that. Number one, the impugned order has decided that the intra-party election was held. This is important. Was held on 2nd of October 2023.
December,
sorry, I keep saying October. December 2023. So, it was held, they say. They're not denying that it was not held. Number two, they have not pointed out anything in the manner and conduct of the election itself. No irregularity or defect per se in the manner and conduct of that election has been pointed out. Number three, they have accepted that Form 65 and all the documents as required by Section 209 have been duly provided. These three things are important for my arguments. IPE was held, they have not pointed out anything, so I don't need to go into many aspects of the election itself. And no documentary dispute. But what they have done, Your Lordship, is given a very circular reasoning, which I call a circular reasoning fallacy. A circular reasoning fallacy, which is actually an absurd reasoning. They have said that your intra-party election is okay, but the General Secretary who appointed the Chief Federal Commission, that is the person who conducted the election, was not properly appointed. And because the Federal Commission was not properly appointed, therefore the intra-party election is irregular. And because it is irregular, we do not accept this election. And because we do not accept the election, we will not give you the symbol. Huge jump, Your Lordship. Huge jump. Taking away the symbol because of an irregularity in the appointment of a General Secretary who appointed a Federal Commission.
If I may interrupt you. Yesterday, Mr. Makhdoom Ali Khan was arguing on the technical aspect, Secretary General and all that. And I may repeat for your benefit, that the more fundamental question is whether there is democracy in the party, which can only be reflected by an election, valid elections being held within the party. And if that is so, then everything follows. Then you get the symbol, whatever other requirements are. And if that is not, then you run into trouble. So that is at least, if I'm speaking, I speak for myself, my focus will be, if you're talking about democracy, then there must be democracy within political parties as well. So the whole conduct of the elections, not the fine aspects of the elections here as irregularity or there irregularity, but the fundamental point of an elections may not have complied with all the rules and regulations of the PTI's constitution, which is not really the concern of the courts, nor should be of the Election Commission of Pakistan, but the fundamental question cannot be ignored, that members had been granted a fair opportunity to file nomination papers, to contest the election, and there was a semblance of regularity. That much, overcome that much.
I've got that point. And
by simply saying 14 persons came as complainants and said, we are not being allowed to participate in the elections, to simply discard them by saying they're not members of PTI will not be sufficient when at least for one of them, Mr. Akbar S. Ahmed, it has been admitted that he was a founding member of the party. Merely because you don't like what a person says does not mean that his membership ceases. Unless you can show he resigned a political party, joined another political party, or went through some disciplinary procedure and was thrown out from the political party. So I don't know about the other candidates, we've not heard much about them, but don't just simply say they were not members of PTI. How would I know you are a member of PTI? You saying so, and they saying so, there must be some parameters within which one can objectively determine this fact.
Absolutely.
So if it is not added to this, and please hear this is also very important, you used the word mala fide in fact and in law. Various allegations, we don't try to be influenced by anything that is said on the media or social media, but your stance is that there is mala fide of fact and law before the court of law, the Supreme Court. Now you must show such mala fide, because a point which was raised yesterday by Mr. Makhdoom Ali Khan was the fact that, okay, now I'm not in government, now they are hounding me. He said, no, we had raised this point when you were in government. PTI was in government. ECP was a constitutional body and had called upon you to conduct your elections. This has gone back very far back in time when the PTI was in government. So surely, unless you are saying the ECP was so independent a body that even it was proceeding against those in government then, either you maintain that stance that will undermine your stance that ECP has suddenly, the same persons in the ECP have suddenly turned subservient to whoever you want to allege. So, if it was suddenly been brought up, they've been pursuing this matter for quite a while. And before that, either you take the plea that the law of election, and mind you, Election Act has not been challenged, any provision thereof.
I will not.
So whether we will not comment on its constitutionality because it has not been challenged. It may be challenged tomorrow, and we don't want to, in these related proceedings.
I'm not challenging them.
So certain provisions were pointed out, then a person will just produce a piece of paper, I've held elections. And would that constitute elections? I'm not going into the nitty-gritty of the elections, mind you. I want to know the general, every election everybody complains. I mean, it's rare in Pakistan that nobody complains, but you see the general
broader picture.
So you understood what I
have bilkul understood. And I'm going to address that. I worked on it last night, and I will address both those questions. So, but for the present moment,
Can we start with the facts first? Then we come. If we can just start with 14 members.
Destroy my scheme of arguments.
Okay, fine. Okay. Fair enough.
Page 90 के ऊपर
आप जैसे चलें फिर आप चलें.
फेडरल इलेक्शन कमीशन का आपका शेड्यूल है पेज 90 पेपर बुक नंबर 1 में.
जी.
तो ये आप जरा देखिए ना, इसके अंदर जो नॉमिनेशन और इलेक्शन कराने का तरीक़ेकार पेज 90
जी. हमने जो पेज 90
आपके नियाजुल्लाह खान नियाजी साहब ने 29/11/2023 को इशू किया
जी.
अगर आप इसमें देखें, नोटिस इनवाइटिंग नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स फ्रॉम पीटीआई मेंबर.
जी सर.
ये वही है 29/11
हो गया जी 29 को.
फिर नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म्स टू बी रिसीव्ड बाय रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर एट इस्लामाबाद जस्ट आफ्टर 2 days 1/12/2023.
करेक्ट सर.
अपील अगेंस्ट ऑब्जेक्शन और रिजेक्शन ऑफ नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म वो भी पहली तारीख ही, सेम डे ही नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म रिसीव किए जाएंगे, सेम डेट ही वो अपीलें फाइल हो जाएंगी. फिर डिस्प्ले ऑफ नेम ऑफ कंटेस्टिंग पैनल वो भी एक 12 ही है
जी।
फिर पोलिंग डे एट पेशावर खैबर पख्तूनख्वा, इसमें देयर इज नो वेन्यू मेंशन फॉर द इलेक्शंस, दैट इज ये भी 2/12/2023 को ही होगी। फिर डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ इलेक्शन रिजल्ट बाय सीईसी वो भी 2/12 को ही होगी, और नोटिफिकेशन ऑफ इलेक्शन रिजल्ट जो है वो 3/12 को होगी। जस्ट ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड यस्टरडे ऑल्सो कि जो आपका प्रोसीजर है इसके अंदर वो नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म कहाँ से लेने थे, वेयर वाज द वेन्यू मेंशन इन दिस, how to collect the form, nomination form, where the nomination form is to be submitted, because I also asked the question that how many members you have. I think it is more than 8,50,000.
जी।
तो इसके अंदर जो बात चीफ साहब भी आपसे कह रहे हैं कि वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी इलेक्शंस के अंदर थी, कौन लड़ सकता था कौन नहीं लड़ सकता था, by simply saying अब आपकी 15 कंप्लेंट वहाँ गई हैं ईसीपी में।
जी।
ECP में सो मोटो नहीं है ये एक्शन। Somebody has filed complaints and the action was taken on the complaint not by ECP सो मोटो। आपके अपने सर्टिफिकेट 65 पे नहीं हुआ ये 15 कंप्लेंट फाइल हो गई वहाँ पे। तो अब उन्होंने देखा इन सब चीजों को, तो उस पे हम ये पूछना आपसे चाह रहे थे ना कि ये किस तरह का प्रोसीजर था।
बिल्कुल, मुझे आई अंडरस्टूड द पॉइंट, आपका जो पॉइंट है,
क्योंकि जब आप लेवल प्लेइंग
दिस प्रोग्राम इज ब्रॉट टू यू बाय
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
सनलाइट 15% एक्स्ट्रा पाउडर के साथ, ज्यादा पाउडर ज्यादा बचत।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800-43700.
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
We're luxury whispers at every turn. Inquire now and secure your dream.
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
ज़िंदगी जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे, फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
चिकन क्यूब पाउडर में भी दस्तयाब है, मैन्युफैक्चर्ड बाय सैग ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज।
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800-43700.
ज़िंदगी जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे, फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
आओ कराची जगाते हैं।
बिरयानी आला है आला, कराची खास का जायका निराला।
जायका निराला।
इसमें बसी है कराची खास की कहानी, बड़ी चटपटी और बड़ी
मजेदार बिरयानी। आ गई और छा गई, नई और पहले से ज्यादा मजेदार नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी। नागन से सी व्यू, पूरे कराची ने मानी कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
अब आया ना मजा भाई, बहुत ही गजब। सनलाइट 15% एक्स्ट्रा पाउडर के साथ, ज्यादा पाउडर ज्यादा बचत।
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800-43700.
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
ज़िंदगी जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे, फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
दिस प्रोग्राम इज ब्रॉट टू यू बाय
हमारे किचन में ईद का चांद नजर आ चुका है, क्योंकि डालडा अब पूरे 100 रुपए कम।
सनलाइट 15% एक्स्ट्रा पाउडर के साथ, ज्यादा पाउडर ज्यादा बचत।
For booking or details, call GFS Builders and Developers.
Toll free 0800-43700.
मलका में पकाएं, बेफिक्री से खाएं।
We're luxury whispers at every turn. Inquire now and secure your dream.
नेशनल की कराची खास बॉम्बे बिरयानी, कराची की सबसे बेस्ट बिरयानी।
ज़िंदगीअ जी डोड़ में कॾहिं रुकिजी न वञे। फ़ैसिलो अॼु करणो आहे, जेकॾहिं सुभाणे ॿार खे हलणो आहे।
चिकन क्यूब पाउडर में भी दस्तयाब है। मैन्युफैक्चर्ड बाय सैग ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज।
Yes, there's no comparison. Maybe you can say, yes, it continues today. You may say so. But today, your opponents are not in government.
They're not.
We use the word casually, establishment. Why don't we use the word honestly, army? There does not apparently appear to be any interference. You may allege there is, but you know the overt kind of stuff, unless you point out, matters are coming, the elections are not being held. It was your own petition, we argued, which we pressed it in 12 days, we got the date, you were happy, everybody was happy when. So access to courts is there, it's not that nobody allowed you to file. Making allegations on the media or outside unnecessarily undermines constitutional institution, which does not mean you should not make these allegations if they are true. Now the very same election commission has issued you the notice to hold elections as far back when you were in government. Can we start from there? What was the malafide then? Please read that notice, the first one, because that from a timeline point of view that will be very important, because if we have to gauge whether suddenly the euphemism that is used, establishment, is weighing heavy on the election commission and doing something, we will certainly hear this. But then how did they know then, when the very same establishment, surely it was not your allegation then that they were siding with the election commission of Pakistan. So if you're going to make it dramatic and political, then give the whole context or keep it legal. So if you're going to use, I mean, I respect every constitutional body. You said malafide in fact and law. Did we appoint them? You all appoint these people. We don't appoint them. So when you just throw an allegation is not acceptable because you don't serve Pakistan then. We need these institutions. We can make them better. If they're not doing their job, force them to do the job. That's our job. But we cannot take on their responsibilities because you'll be the first to complain. We will not take on the responsibilities of Parliament, as I have repeatedly stated. You will be the first to complain. Who is he? I'm the parliamentarian. I'll make the law. I want to.
For the first time,
whether it's constitutional or not, and that's it.
बिल्कुल सही।
जरा से आप ये मैलिफिडे का जो आप एंगल अगर ले रहे हैं तो इसको सब्सटैंशिएट कीजिए। मैं जिस तरह लूंगा, changes the prism completely. Right. If they are malafide, then we look at them at very suspect eyes, or you take away this allegation. I'm not saying take it away. It's your call.
I'll be totally non-political in my arguments, Your Lordship. As always, there's no point in bringing, although it's relevant to a political party, this case, but I will keep it very legal. And on the malafide in fact and law, I will be more relying on procedural malafide than anything else. I will not go into.
Are you withdrawing the allegation of malafide in fact? Because it's very important. You have to answer this.
When I use the word malafide in fact, maybe I was wrong in saying. In terms of
you can withdraw it if you want to. You don't withdraw it if you don't want to.
I'm not even going there into that arena. I am basically going to argue that there's a procedural clear cut on the record.
I'm noting that you are withdrawing you're not saying malafide.
I'm not saying malafide in fact.
Please proceed.
In that sense,
you are always fair. Please proceed.
Now, Your Lordship, so I was starting by saying that symbol is a fundamental right of a political party under Article 17, Sub-Article 2. And I'm not saying that Your Lordship said back it up. I will back it up with a judgment which is known as the famous symbols case.
Benazir Bhutto case? Ji. I think both parties are relying on the same judgment.
They are not. They are relying on the other Benazir Bhutto judgment of 88. I am relying on the 89 judgment. So,
citation please.
It is PLD 89 Supreme Court.
1989 Supreme Court
66. It is 12 judges sat on this case, and it's basically all about symbol.
Relevant page?
I will just read that relevant page. But before that, Your Lordship, let us look at the effect of no symbol.
No, एक second. देखिए, maybe I at least the fundamental question is, if elections are proper, I for one don't think that you should be deprived of the symbol. So can this, when you citing Benazir Bhutto, was it a question of inter-party elections or no?
No, it was a question that a symbol was the symbol was being taken away.
You can't just deprive someone of their symbols. But here it is connected with the party elections.
My point
because certification, suppose there is a particular time within which you have to file a certificate. You don't comply with the time. I don't think it's such a relevant thing that a person should be deprived of their fundamental rights or even normal rights. So when we read this judgment, we'll have to consider the fact that it was not a question where the political party had not held elections. Yes, who can deny the importance of a symbol?
But my reason for reading this judgment will be separately different. My reason for reading this judgment would be to show to this honorable court that a symbol is not just a right of a political party. Symbol is a right of the illiterate millions of people of Pakistan who rely on the symbol for the purposes of exercising their right of vote. They rely on a political party symbol for the purposes of...
Zafar, I think maybe it's too fine a point of what... I don't disagree with you at all. But...
So I will...
No, but पूरी बात सुन लें. मगर मैं कुछ और कह रहा हूँ. जी. एक नाम होता है ना. Political party is a name, but at the end of the day, political party कौन होते हैं? जो लोग उसको कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. कल कोई जासूस घुस जाए किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में, उसको एक कागज का टुकड़ा पेश कर दें कि जी हम ये पॉलिटिकल पार्टी बन गए. आपकी पार्टी का नहीं कह रहा, कोई और पॉलिटिकल पार्टी. ठीक है. वो उसी के मेंबर आए कि जी इलेक्शन नहीं हुआ, ये कैसे आ गए? तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी की जब बात आप कर रहे हैं, तो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी तो इनएनिमेट ऑब्जेक्ट है. एक नजरिया को रिफ्लेक्ट करती है, एक कुछ लोगों की समझ को रिफ्लेक्ट करती है. हम ये देखना चाहते हैं कि वो तरीकेकार हुआ या नहीं हुआ, और वो एक ही तरीके से हो सकता है